I think I saw some guy literally just now saying Blaze Outer being there is a fucking joke. Who the fuck uses Primal Caster? Yeah, just because you don't use Primal Caster doesn't mean that it's not powerful. The Siege is the real rage bait. I don't think Siege is that strong. Personally. You can see otherwise. I don't think Siege is that strong. Okay, time for explanations. Now that we're done with the scatter plot. And then also to rearrange. Yeah. We're back until YouTube say we're not. Okay. Let's take the time to go through the list and then also explain. So that's that. Okay. I think in terms of this tier list, I'm gonna start from the bottom and then we go all the way up. And then we see how I want to adjust everybody as we go on. Okay? I know you all can't see the list. I'm not there yet. Alright. Let me make sure that I can see the chat as I'm doing this. Okay, let's see. Carnelian. Will I put her at 6.0? Here's the thing, I was so tempted to put her at 5.9. So tempted. But I think I don't know, man. Carnelian really does disappoint me as a 6-star. Hey, it's true AoE, but her sister can also do true AoE. Beeswax. There are times that I feel like Beeswax is better than Carnelian. I'll keep Carnelian there. Okay. Shining. I don't know, Shining's use case is very rare. Super, super rare for people to be seeing it. But she's not 6.0 because she has a niche that at least no one fully covers, right? Full defense up for everybody. So I think she will be a 6.1. Arc. Honestly speaking, most people aren't using Arc to buff these days because there's just too many stronger options of buffing. You can use Shu, you can use Monster. Suzerain is still a great option, right? There's tons of people, such that Arc has too much setup. I think Arc does have the nice stun if he has some ASPD stuff going on to him. I think Arc would be in 6.0. Magalan. Slow drones. Actually, Raiden stole Magalan's role as well. Because Raiden's skill tree literally does what Magalan does. Although it's single target, Magalan is AoE. I think Magalan will stay. I think Magalan will be a 6.1. I'm not rating Vigil lower because I know that the last time when I did this tier list, Magalan can be invisible. You are right. So there is some uniqueness to Magalan that makes it such that she cannot be 6.0. So yeah. I have been enjoying the use of Vigil a bit more because there were certain times that I involuntarily use Vigil for the fun of it and then used him into a stage. And honestly, even though the wolf's hit stacks are pretty weak, but then again, I guess if you understand how to use it and not shatter the hit so easily all the time, it's actually not too bad to own him. Like his damage is actually quite high for a Vanguard, and it's an arts damage as well. So yeah, and arc start is more stable than Vigil. That I disagree. You are more stable starting with a Vigil. So I'm keeping Vigil there. Fartooth is a tough one. Because I really wanted to put Fartooth in 6.0. I don't like her damage numbers. Her damage numbers are very low, even when you are hitting someone far. But then again, though, when I say that, right, we have quite a few global range people now. There's literally Lemuel now. But the thing is that no one has a niche of shooting straight in front. No, oh no, there is one singular person who does what Fartooth does. Upenius. And he does it exceptionally better than Fartooth. I think, you know what? Fartooth's niche isn't enough to justify that she should be rated where she is. I think Fartooth goes down. But she is a niche that no 5-star covers as well, which makes me say she can't be on the 5.9. So, yeah. Ho here. Very inconsistent levitation. Literally needs ASPD to fix her. Has silence, but Lapland has silence. And the silence is not very long lasting. I don't know, Hoheak's kit is very strange. I think it's strange enough that yeah, I think Hoheak's levitation is so strange to use. It's too finicky to the point that I might put her down to 6.0. Lessing. Lessing's niche is honestly unique enough that he should stay in 6.1 because the ability to just not be affected by negative status is a, fair game. But yeah, his damage is very little. He just has one ability that is like cool. And he is a substitute to Skadi if you need a heli drop. But not wrong. S6 damage numbers are so subpar. Would I keep him there? I'd say that's tough, man. I think I'll keep him here. Crown Slayer. Crown Slayer's mod allowed her to perma stun already, right? I haven't used her that much. As in, I have her mod, but I actually haven't tested it enough to remember. Perma stuns people already? If she perma stuns people, then I think she needs to go up. She'll be in the 6.2. Okay. Siege. I think Siege is going down. I don't know if I put Siege all the way down. I don't think I. Oh. I don't know what her role is. I actually don't know what her role is in the game anymore. Like, Siege has an interesting skill tree that no one even talks about anymore. Okay, wow, harsh. I think Siege goes to 5.9. Yeah. Siege might go to 5.8. But I'm gonna give it. Oh, fudge. Does she? I'm not even rate her 5.9. I might go lower. Because I don't get it. I just don't know why you would pick Siege. Wow, this is so harsh. I'm doing it though. Apology, Siege. You're going one more down. AFK skill 2. Do you really need AFK skill 2? Say AFK skill 2 also doesn't generate DP that fast, which is the reason that I'm annoyed. I might as well put down Carnelian as well. I don't know, would I? You know what? I take it. Carnelian goes to 5.9. Arc stays. Far too. You would swap Siege and Carnelian. I don't think Siege is better than Carnelian. Anyways, Carnelian, if you forced it, you will have stages that you can clear with Carnelian. You force Siege to clear what? I'm so sorry, Siege. It sounds so harsh to you, but there's not really any diff. Like, you can force Carnelian to look good. If you're doing some challenge and then people are like, please use Carnelian in your run. Like, you can make something out of it. You can't do anything out of Siege. Batuf. Oh, whole Heiak. That's whole Heiak stay. You know what? Whole Heiak has some. Because levitation squad is also a thing. And there is some level of stalling by doing that. So I'm keeping hold there. And then Fatooth, I'm also keeping there. You feel like Hole needs to be higher. Hole needs to be higher because of levitation is just rare. Some of you are saying, but Haruka is coming. I'm keeping Hole there. Shining, I'm keeping higher. Magalan, I'll still keep her there. I'm putting Vigil down. And then I keep Blessing here. Yes, I I think I'm putting you to 6.1. Yeah, I think Heather goes to 6.1. Skill 2, skill 1, skill 2, skill 3. They're all good skills though, but they're just like not good enough to say that it's insane. Yeah, he's too squishy. Like once Solar exists, right? Then everyone's just like, wait, what does Helliger even mean? Because Helliger can have enemies where he just doesn't hold them at all, even though that's the purpose of a Musha. The Musha's role is to hold an enemy. And if Helliger doesn't perform that, then a bit what's the point? So I'll put Helliger here. Phantom's skill 3 is somewhat nice to still use. Skill 2 is very finicky. And I'm not counting IS as well. If I Okay, like I said, this tier list doesn't count IS, but it's also like because his IS mod exists that he kind of wavers between this 6.1, 6.2. Like, of course, with his IS mod, he goes way higher, right? But if I average like everything, I think 6.2 is the fair number to give him. So I'm going to put him at 6.2. Same for Angelina. Like, Angelina's IS mod is also crazy, right? Angelina's IS mod is basically a completely different unit. But if you average the use case of Angelina, which most people aren't using her now, but you can still use her for skill 2 to slow, like mad slow a singular enemy, right? And use skill 3 if you want to like momentarily slow certain people within a certain stage. So I think I will keep Angelina there. Wow. Aketo with IS mod would be like here, right? Aketo with IS mod would be like here or something. Here or here. No, I wouldn't say 6.8, I would say 6.7. But because we are not counting IS mod, or even if I try to account for it, you try to average it, right? Aketo needs to be lower. I think she 6.1. He has no use case. She has offensive recovery for snipers. If you put her in a sniper team. And just one random shield. But her damage is super low. I'm pissed off with Aketo's damage. Actually, I'm even pissed off with Aketo's damage in IS mod. Sometimes it doesn't hit. It's just nice that she has utility with everybody. So, like, I think if I true averaged it with IS, I would have like placed it here. But if I didn't, I'm just gonna be I'll give you a 6.1. So yeah. Shorts I think is so finicky to use because of that shorter range, but you can still use her for skill 2. I ironically use her for skill 2, which I think most people should consider because you get the square range still, and you can still get the defense down rather than always limiting yourself to that single line. Um, but her defense down is pretty high, right? She still has a higher damage ceiling than Pozionka, which is something that makes it nice for her. But she has no versatility. And no versatility, but her skills are fast. So I'm just gonna say that Schwartz is like there. There's a chance that there's a part of me that feels that she should be. Actually, if you set up Schwartz right, like in a team, and you still put like a defender, you put a lane holder for Schwartz. As long as she's not like dealing with a crowd of enemies, and it's just like you're dealing with elite enemies and whatnot. Actually, Schwartz still kinda works. Okay, I tell you what, she's in 6.3. Okay, Flame Tail doesn't need to be that high. Flame Tail goes down. Dodge is cool. Damage not very cool. So yeah, I think Flame Tail will be there. Let Me Shine. Let Me Shine is a good sleep mechanic, but We need a sleek team. We need a sleek, like the bestest sleek team to justify it. Although TT is coming, we don't know how TT works yet. She's good for stalling, yes. Oh, she does help defenders with defensive recovery. You are right. She's really good for a defender team, and she has one of the highest healing per second. Fine. I'll give it to her. She'll be higher. Mizuki's mod, not IS mod, like I said, because we're not accounting for IS. I know Mizuki's IS mod is pretty damn nice. The fact that she can pull people into the hole, um, or just pull people in general, it's a pretty good ability. But again, we're not accounting for it. Um, his regular mod does fix certain things with him though, which I think is pretty good. Thanks, Indian bro. And he has good AFK skill. He has the ability to still bind people, right? Like he plays a role that Ethan plays. Ethan can bind everyone, but Mizuki can only bind a set number of people. If that set number of people is what you're going for, actually, it's not horrid per se. So I'm keeping him there. I'm keeping him at 6.2. Silek. Honestly, who the hell is using Silek? As in, Silek is fragile. Silek can heal. But it's like, that role typically gets filled by tons of other people. It's almost like you pick Silek to force. Flexible, fragile effect. Oh, but Silek is very Silek is very CC oriented. You're right. Okay, fine. You know what? He stays. Silek stays at 6.2. Palas. Palas goes down. Yes, buffer, decent damage skill tree. Funny when you ASPD up her, but no, I think Palas goes down. Palas needs to go up. Maybe no. Palas stays. Palas stays. Palas stays in 6.2. I don't think I quite want to put Palas with in here. So yeah, I think Palas stays in 6.2. Silence Alter. I personally don't use Silence Alter that much. There's not really any damage though. And like, she can prevent someone from dying. But Silence Alter's competition feels like it's one, Hoshi Alter. Because Hoshi Alter's mass retain everybody on the map ability is crazy. And then like, there's still Exu, right? If someone gets retreated, you can redeploy. Silence goes down. Silence might go down to 6.0. Would I do that? No. Wait, I think Flame Tail goes lower. I think Silence goes with it. I think I'll do this. Dodge though? Who's caring about the dodge on Flame Tail? The instant the skill goes off, no more dodge, she dies. If you're trying to dodge like high attack people. I'll do it as this. You know what? Let's take it like this. If Flame Tail skill tree ends and there's still enemies, you're doing it wrong. Not wrong. If that's how you use Flame Tail. You're supposed to use it on like weaker enemies so that when she dodges, she gives time to set up the team. That's the whole point of Flame Tail. But it's a pretty fussy unit to use. Okay, Crown Slayer. I'll go up one more tier. I'll like keep it here. Like this. Then Crown Slayer will be at 6.3. 10 goes down, 6.2. Wow, would she go down one more tier? I think 6.2. Her mod gives her SP, better SP regen, and it supports the teams. It can be the 12th unit on your team. Yeah, skill 3 still iframing, but I think 6.2. Blaze damage is still high. Blaze damage is still trusty. It's so weird though, because every time you tier list a 6-star and you come to Blaze, the literal only thing you're tier listing is her skill 2. You're not tier listing her 3 and 1, because no one gives a shit about her 3 and 1. 1 maybe for whatever reason, if you're fast redeploying Blaze in a certain stage and then you need an instant skill, then you use 1. But it's still a great skill. There's nothing wrong with a skill 2. Is this tier list considering performance in IS? As far as possible, do not count IS. If you can, average it across every content. But you cannot overrate the IS into the number tier list. Do you get what I mean? Why is it so quiet? No BGM? We add BGM next time. I don't need BGM here. I might add BGM if it's a video. Blaze, I think I keep. Hoshi became a 4 blocker. And her module increased her defense. So she's still, I believe, one of the highest defense. She's not the highest, but she's one of the highest defense. And then it's very consistent because the skill 2 is a passive one, and then the skill 2 also still lets you take damage onto people if they snap. Skill 3 is okay as the blade spinner. So yeah, I'll keep Hoshi there. Rosa, I think, is unpopular with people, but Rosa still has a very nice skill 2. Long enough duration, multi-bind, it's good. Sorry, not skill 2, but skill 3. Skill 2 is the pseudo Typhon. Rosa should be much higher. Utility. I just don't. Okay, I love Rosa, but I don't think I want to put her higher because even though the skill uptime is so low for Rosa, she tends to not be the person to finish the job per se. Her module deals so much damage. Oh shit, not wrong. You're pretty fair to say that her module does fix the problems a little bit. You know what? Fine. I think Rosa goes to 6.4. Nian. Defense up on everybody. Block count up. It could be nice if you use correctly. One of the skills deal us damage, pretty random. One of the skills increase her own defense. And also start repelling damage onto people, arts damage. He doesn't buff her own defense with skill 3. Funny, right? It's one of the biggest weaknesses with Nian. Which is, why does Nian buff everybody but herself? It's very strange. But you know what? I think she stays. Nian is a 6.3. Dusk has skill 3, skill 2, skill 1. Skill 1 of auto recovery. Skill 2 is pretty nice of a range, to be honest, as a AoE caster, right? constant rectangular AoE range. Quite like Leonhardt, but it's just instead of Leonhardt being you choose when it blasts, it's a constant rectangle blast. And then skill 3 has some ability to permastall. I've used her to permastall certain bosses before. I'm gonna say I don't think people like Dusk because of her damage. Her damage is very low. But I think if you use Dusk correctly, I feel like it's quite fine. Oh, her SP is very high. Indeed. I think I'm keeping Dusk. No, Dusk can go down, despite there being some utility. But I find it weird if I say Dusk is lower than Fuxi and Yen. I don't quite feel that. I I'll keep her there. I'll keep Dusk there. Think about how much you use Dusk. But I also don't use Hoshi and Yen that often in my own personal use case. But like if I had to use them, I get how they work. And it's the same as Dusk. Like if I really need to be forced to use Dusk, I'm like I have some ideas on how she can be good. So I'm gonna say that she's a 6.3. Lee, I think, has a powerful enough niche that he deserves to be 6.3, right? The pushing skill 3. He has some funny Gatling skill 2, I believe, the one where he plays the talisman and then the damage becomes very huge if you use it well. I think he's just nice. And then he can't be stunned, right? He spends DP to remove the negative status and does it back to the enemy. It's pretty damn good. I think it's fine. Lee's gotta be there. So yeah, Lee's a 6.3. Is Saga a 6.3? Oh no, actually Saga skill 3 is pretty freaking nice to use as a Vanguard start. Skill 2 okay lah, but like click skill, click skill, click skill. Saga is just non-AFK Siege, but Saga's damage is better than Siege, in my eyes at least. Saga also gives. So one of the things that people forget about Saga is that when the enemy dies and it's left with 1 HP, it also gives SP to the person who kills the enemy that is at 1 HP. A lot of people don't use Saga for that. Like they just forget that Saga does that. So if you know how to use Saga correctly, then it gives SP. So does my Siege. No, Siege gives SP to herself. Siege doesn't give SP to her friends, but Saga gives SP to her friends. So I think, yeah, I don't use I no longer use Saga for a skill 2. I always, if I had to use Saga, I always use it for skill 3. So yeah, Rosmo. Using Rosmo skill 3 is a pain in the freaking ass. Skill 2 is fine. Skill 1's okay if you need that sort of like splash arts damage while still having physical. But skill 2 is nice. Skill 2 stun has been pretty sweet for me to use. Like a stun time is decent. If you are playing certain game modes, you get ASPD, it's quite purple stunny to use Rosmo skill 2. Right? Stronghold Protocol showed that for Rosmo. IS shows that for Rosmo. No, and then again, I'm not rating this with IS, but if you Rosmo with IS would have been like 6.7. Can't be 6.8 because she cannot hit air, but 6.7. I don't think Rosmo deserves to be 6.2 because I find that there are really, really good situations to use Rosmo. Even though people say she doesn't have good damage, but I like the utility enough that I think she's in the 6.3. So yeah, she's staying there. Irene's Levitate is so enemies' levitation duration depends on their weight, but even if they have high weight, Irene still levitates them, which is a good thing because it's like a form of stun. And then Irene also has ignore defense, which makes her way better than how Chen actually works. Of course, the problem with Irene is that her direct competition upwards is Dagger Breaker, but I think Irene is pretty damn good to use. If it weren't for Dagger Breaker, Irene wouldn't have looked that bad. Like I feel like Irene would have been in this 6.4, 6.5. But Dagon Breaker just made her feel a little lousy, I feel. If I gave Irene a true power scale, if it weren't for Dagon Breaker, I think Irene should be 6.4. Did I do that? It's just quite sad. No one uses Irene because of Dagon, but yet if you don't have Dagon, right, and then you think of using a Swordmaster for stage, actually Irene is still pretty freaking good. You know what? Yeah, I think Irene goes up. Weedy. Weedy's niche is still very big, right? Because pusher, you don't always get a pusher. Pusher, if the weight counts for it, Purple Stall, skill 3 true damage, still pretty freaking good. To go, boom, true damage, like, it's not bad. There's no one to counter her. When with no competition, I think Weedy can only stay good like that. It's just not like exactly over the top amazing or anything. I'll just keep her there. 6.3. Lumen. Lumen has the ability to remove negative status. Otherwise, infinite skill, pretty good as a single target healer. Status resistance is nice, and then clearing the resistance is also nice. Sorry, clearing the bad things is also nice. Free to play. Extra thing to note: everybody can own him. Easy to build. Do I think Lumen is better? I mean, yeah, clearly Lumen is better than Shining. As in, sounds strange because Shining defense up sounds like it's supposed to be better than Lumen, but nah, Lumen is just easier to use. So, yeah, I think Lumen stays in the 6.3 category. Infinite skill is pretty freaking good if you don't have to use his bullets. Just use Susuro. There's very rare cases that Susuro's better than Lumen, but I think generally Lumen is better than Susuro. Of course, not good in IS because in IS, no one tends to pick Lumen unless they really want to because Lumen is high hope. But if it weren't for hope, Lumen would have been like, wow, I'll pick him all day. You know? So, yeah. Ebonhalls. It's Ebonhalls a 6.3. Such a finicky guy to use as well. Right? The drag on the skill 2, skill 3, elite instant killer, leader instant killer. His role is very good though. Because like Ebonhalls being able to one-shot enemies is just good. There are certain enemies that you realize if you need to one-shot them so that they don't kill you, it's a good thing to have. But then again, people are like, wait, you're talking about one-shot? Have you heard of Wistadale? Or they'll be like, Exia Outer? Or you don't want the enemy to touch you? How about Churgodia? You know what? 6.2. Does he go to 6.1? No. I think he stays 6.2. Okay. Here's a module. Does it really fix him? I think I've used it. It's okay. 6.2. Eunectus. Okay, Eunectus feels like one of the least used 6 stars nowadays. but I have actively chose Eunectus in certain stages. The most annoying thing about Eunectus is the freaking SP recovery. The SP recovery is so annoying. Because I feel like if it weren't for the SP recovery, everyone will actually put Eunectus up to be higher. Oh, and yeah, she has a very high cost as a unit to deploy in the stage, making it pretty tricky. But she can lane hold on a single person. Eunectus needs to be lower. Eunectus is not the worst 6-star. Let's start with that. Her skill tree is on its own. Like, she has a higher defense than Hoshi. And also, when you turn on the skill tree, she does have HP regen. It's a very big HP regen. And it's a pretty high attack as well. If Eunectus can block 2, it would be great. Correct. If Eunectus doesn't block 1, it's also a good thing. No, but then again, the reason why they made her a block 1 is she's supposed to be a duelist. She's supposed to only hold one person at a time. I think I'll pull her down. I'm not gonna put her in 6.1 or 0. I think she's 6.2. I like using her at a certain point in time. Yeah, we have Dreadnought for that. The difference between Dreadnought and Duelist is that Duelists cannot hold. Dreadnoughts can't hold people. They are high damage, but you tend to not want to face plant them in front of someone. Like, some Dreadnoughts have skills that, makes them sustain. But Duelist's role is to straight up hold them while also dealing damage. So, yeah, I'm putting her at 6.2. Passenger. Wow, when you don't have IS, what is passenger? His slow is nice. His skill 2 getting a bit. His skill 2 increase ASPD, right? If I remember correctly. But passenger. Lightning strike also very inconsistent, very annoying to use. Passenger go down. 6.2. Does he go even lower? No. 6.2. Okay. Swire Outer, I feel like many people would have rated lower than this. But no, Swire Outer I think is pretty freaking good. But it's rare. You don't think about it. Because Swire is immortal. She's tanky, yes. Her damage is okay, respectable to use in the stage. But the one thing I think people forgot is that Swire is immortal. People just don't use it. So, to explain her immortality, if you didn't know, it's if she drops to a lethal damage, meaning she runs out of HP, she gets her HP back by spending DP. But every time she revives herself, the DP cost goes up. So it's bad because, she's a merchant and then she consumes DP, and then she consumes even more and even more and even more. It just double goes up, higher and higher. But it means that you can actually sustain a boss with her, which is actually quite amazing. Her mod 2 made her revive cost lower. Wait, does it exist in the game now? Her mod 2 made her revive cost lower? You sold me. I didn't know that. 6.4. It has to be. Because her revive cost was quite high. If mod 2 made her revive cost lower, then that is freaking powerful. That has to be a 6.4. Could it be higher than that? Can, but I think 6.4 is nice. Because anyways, it's still single target after all. But her mod 2 drain is so much smaller. It went from 3, 6, 9, 12 to instead of 5, 10, 20, 40. Wait, her mod 2 doesn't double. Her mod 2 only plus 3. What? That's pretty broken, Wow, that is a 6.5 tier. But again, though, most people aren't thinking about using her. Need to inject Swire Outer into people's brains. I feel like a lot of people forgot how she works. Because she's a merchant also. She is a forgotten operator, I feel. But she's actually freaking good. Okay, I'll keep her at 6.4. Then Schwartz. Schwartz stays. Oh yeah, because I rated her up just now. Schwartz stays. Let me stays, Translator stays. Because we rated all three of them up from their 6.2s. Okay? Scuddy Outer. Scuddy Outer go up. W. Skill 3, big explosion. Skill 2, put mines. I'll keep her there. I think it's okay. There's good value to use her. You do tend to need to block, like have someone blocking if you are going to use her AoE firepower. But then, could you make skill 3 look amazing? Yes. You get the moment when lots of enemies are really clustered together, then you trigger that skill 3. There's some skill proficiency to using W basically to make her good. I think 6.4. 1 hour time is over. We're going unit by unit at this point, so it's fine. Yeah, I think her skill tree makes it sweet enough that she can stay there. Skadi, I think, can be high. I mean, one, Abyssal Hunter synergy. Lots of people are gonna say, "Whoa, it's amazing." Well, Silver Ash synergy, like as in Silver Ash Altar, or even regular Silver Ash, right? Redeployment time down. Skill 2 is a heli drop. Skill 3 is a nice HP up, attack up. Should Skadi go to a 6.5? I stated that the units can be a range. I would say that her high end range, right, like her peak, right, would be a 6.5. But yeah, I think that if you go to the average, like what I would rate, I would say 6.4. Okay, PM meta. PM meta should go down. It's an AFK, but it's also like, eh. PM meta needs a mod. It's fine. We're counting mod for this. Not IS mod. We're counting regular mod. But even if regular mod is very, eh, like her regular mod just damage up, but the damage up is big. Don't get me wrong, as an AOE sniper, but Mortar Gunner, Pum Pum, Singtao, Skill 2, Pew, Phoenix. Like, I don't get it though. Fear Meta is a very strange AoE sniper. Her damage is actually kinda high, but it also doesn't feel good enough for some reason. Fear can help trigger Lemuen Mark. Cool synergy. That's nice. Yeah, I get that because of her mortar range, right? So if since she can go so far, Lemuen gets triggered. I don't know. I think there's some difficulty in using Fear Meta despite her high damage. I'm This is quite harsh, okay? I think she hovers between 6.3 and 6.2. I'm going to go for 6.2. I feel like she can be here, but her difficulty is so strange that I think she's in 6.2. We put it there. Okay, Horn. Horn's fine. Horn could be higher though. Horn 6.5. And then I'll see if I want to arrange higher than that. Stainless. Wow, Stainless is an SP bad. His Tara skill tree is just very weird. His Tara skill tree is there for fun, really. Like, oh, cool, boom, 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 the turret goes boom, hits a little bit far, but you don't actively try to use it, to be honest. Because once the enemy gets in the range, then no one's hitting the turret and everyone's hitting the enemy. But SP battery is really good. Like, he's the skill, the true skill that people should be thinking about with Stainless is his skill 2. Skill 1 if you just want some pure attack path, yeah. Could he be higher? No. I think he stays. He's a good unit. Skill 3 hits that's a very nice touch, yes. Stainless skill 3 being able to hit there is so good. Oh, should he be higher? Wow. Wow, that gives me stress. Does he deserve? He does, you know. He can be a 6.5, but I think I'll keep it at 6.4. Okay, I'll keep him there. Ash, singular stun grenade. Classic skill is just 2. AFK skill 1. Skill 3, what the hell is that? I think Ash go down. Ash go down to 3. 6.3. He wouldn't have a ceiling of 6.5. I think 6.4 is a ceiling. Yeah. Too much content made Ash very crappy to use now. Because the defense up in the enemies has gone very high in certain content that makes Ash very finicky. So yeah. How is Ash better up? It's still a utility at the end of the day. So yeah. So that's that. I'll keep it at 6.3. Yeah. Because if you okay, if Ash wasn't a limited unit and you can get her in any banner, so if you're playing the game, you got Ash, then you'll be asking like, hey, can I build Ash? Can I use Ash in my account? She's like my only sniper. You can. There's nothing wrong with that's it's like she's functional. It's she's not that weak. That's about it. Jessica Alter. I feel like the community thinks that she's very strong. But I've used Jessica Alter a lot to the point that I get pissed with her skill sometimes. The attack up doesn't go up high enough. But she has a nice ability where the shield is good, right? The boom. The change in direction is also really good. Um I do like her skill 2. The skill 2 is a little bit Gatling. Although I don't have it at M3. Yeah, the skill 2 is good at like barraging people in a area. Invisibility review is nice. Yeah. Don't need an Innes, you can have someone else to do it. You know what? Fine. 6.5. Civilite Eternal. Ability to reduce the damage on everyone. Damage, there's a bind that happens. Okay, I'm gonna rate her higher. I don't think she's in 6.4 yet. As in, I'm not sure if she's meant to be higher, but not 6.4. Marcel. Marcel AFK is good. AFK stun. Very, very nice to use. The Gatling booming skill is okay. No, okay, you know what? I wouldn't put if I put Dusk in 6.3, which some of you don't like that Dusk is in 6.3, Marcel wouldn't be in the same tier as Dusk. Marcel has to be one tier up Dusk, at least. So, yeah, I think Marcel stays in 6.4. Blaze. Wow, this was the heated one. Oh, I saw just now my YouTube comment, people were like, oh, why is Blaze out there? I'm not even thinking about whether or not you pair Blaze with Yu though. Like, yes, you pair Blaze with Yu, it's big damage, but she's okay as a caster, you know, as a damage caster. And then she has the ability to stay alive in a bit, which is also okay. Like, even if you don't pair her with Yu, right? So you don't get the burn, but you just use the blasting skill. It's actually not bad. Use her at all. Why do you need her revival in the first place? That's not a bad question to ask. I have not found a situation where you need a revival. The thing is, like, if you don't have any casters, hi, Cookie, my first 6-star is Blaze Outer. Am I gonna win Arknights or am I cooked? Like, I don't think you're cooked. You know, I think you're fine with Blaze as your only 6-star. No, actually, it's quite funny because if this is my description, right, I am quite right to say that, you know, all the 6-stars from here, like 6.4 and down, these 6-stars here, right, while some of them have great niches, they tend to be like the 11th, 12th unit that you consider. If you really, really wanted to bring them, they're like the last unit that you pick in your squad. And then there's the thing where if these 6-stars are like your only 6-stars in your account, you no, actually that's weird because you're not cooked if you use Blaze. I think Blaze is the only one where you're not cooked. But you get cooked when you get into higher end content. Should Blaze be higher? Now that I say it like that. Blaze is like a very low 6.4.